Yeah.
That one's just for you, Gary.
It never runs quite long enough, your intro, Johnny. It's always you kind of get right into it and it stops. It's like, it takes it away from you.
Yeah, but then
that's
you get
for
to it
them
early.
being excited for us. And welcome back to another episode of the Pez and Pork Show. And as you can see, unfortunately, Pez is unavailable this week. He has some business to take care of, but we are lucky enough to have Gary, our Mr. Groovy, as our special host guest, of course, with always Johnny in the back of the booth doing the producing and the directing of the show. Nice to have
I
you.
like the way you said lucky enough to have me there.
Yes,
we'll see how we go through that before you decide whether or not you're lucky. I'm still flying from this morning, so just bear with me. I've got a lot of caffeine in my system.
You are, but
That's
somebody
great.
isn't.
That's awesome. I think we've had a few people have a few beverages in their system during the show.
Yeah.
So I think coffee is more than welcome.
I think Craig had enough for everybody, though. So.
Did you do Craig in an evening, did you, when he wasn't at work?
We did Craig 11 o'clock on a Saturday night after he'd been at Bingo, Bango, Bongo, something, the bingo thing. So it was a bit, worse for you.
I can't remember if it was week 1 or 2. Maybe it was 2 or 3.
It was a very
up 3 a.m. and did the show at 6 a.m. I was still feeling pretty toasty the next morning when I woke up for that show. I'm sure it probably showed in the video. But anyway, so Gary, it's nice to have you here. And Johnny, I think we're going to start off with a couple of trades this week. Is that right?
We are indeed. So we have 2 trades since the last show.
And I think it's the same guy every week. He's making 1 or 2 trades. Let's see what he's got first here.
No, this is a different division, this one. So I'll leave you to it. I'll come back on in a bit.
Yeah, so this is from the Marwick Head Division, Southampton Dockers. They receive Antonio Gibson, and the White Church or the Whitchurch Warriors receives Trevor Lawrence. So, Gary, what are you thinking about this one here?
I'm thinking Whitchurch win this one, kind of hands down. I think Gibson is lost, or Brian Robinson at Washington seems to be like the stronger candidate at the running back position at Washington. So I'm a bit confused by this trade because it seems like a pretty one-sided one. You know, Trevor Lawrence is doing Trevor Lawrence things, looking like the number 1 pick that we thought he was a few years ago. So I'm guessing Rams was kind of light in the running back position and heavy in QB, but this seems a bit of a one-sided trade.
That is exactly what I was thinking when I saw this trade. Obviously, we don't have their roster. I am assuming that the Dockers really needed some running back help.
Well, unfortunately, with that one, it didn't actually go through until Friday morning because by the time they sent my message asking to post it was about 11:30 at night and I was asleep.
That's okay.
It didn't actually need him in the end, I think. He did have a couple of other running backs, but he did lose Gibbs. But his replacement did probably cover what Antonio Gibson wanted.
Lawrence is a high price to pay.
Yeah, it's a pricey one. I mean, Whitchurch robbed him a little bit there, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Well, they did
and
about
the
one of the
Warriors have QB depth of their own.
Well, I think they're not too bad, but Whitchurch Warriors needed a quarterback because I think Thing was on a bye. Herbert was on a bye, so I don't know why he got them so cheap, to be honest. But
as what you mentioned earlier, Gary, maybe he needed a running back. We don't know their roster, but I 100% agree with you. This looks on the surface as a clear winner. But, of course, we don't know how many quarterbacks the Warriors have or the running back situation for the Dockers.
Yeah.
So we are both in agreement on this one, Gary. All right. What do we have next here, Johnny? Oh, we have Zach
Oh,
Charbonneau, a little wine here with
oh.
Jonathan Mingo for Kendra Miller and Gerald Everett. What are you thinking on this one, Gary?
I think Port Belly is kind of. I think having Kamara back is going to impact on Miller quite drastically there. So, the Charbonnet Miller swap, I think McGonagall kind of gets the better deal of that. Everett's an interesting one. He's one of those times he really should blow up. He should score a lot more, and he never seems to. And Mingo had a good game this week, but he's in a Panthers team which is dire. So, that one looks slightly favouring Everett over Mingo, but I think the Charbonnet one makes that it's a painful one to give up for Miller, who I know he's, I mean, everybody blew out the Patriots this week for the Saints, but I've got a feeling that Kamara is going to kind of take a lion's share of that running back position at New Orleans. So, yeah, I got to favour McGonagall just a little bit on that. But again, as we said, the other one, depending on rosters and stuff like that, unless you've got, maybe if you've got Herbert there to the Herbert Everett stack, that might look good going into like some nice sort of. You got some nice matchups for the Chargers coming up, but I just favour the left-hand side of this trade right now.
I do not have Herbert as my starter. This is my team. However, I made a comment last week that the one guy you should trade for is Miller. I am going to stick with him. I do like Charbonneau, but this is not dynasty.
Yeah,
and I'm looking at a one-season thing here, and I'm looking at both of these as rookies that are a toss-up. Mingo's a rookie with Young, and they're not really clicking right now. I do think Mingo will be probably the best player in this deal in 2 or 3 years. It could be.
Could be. He's certainly got the potential there. Yeah, Charbonnet's going to struggle to
the
get.
right place.
Yeah,
right?
Charbonnet's going to struggle because he's got Kenneth Walker there, and he's going to, to get touches and stuff like that. Miller, well, Kamara's not going to be there for too much longer, but yeah, Mingo's got that. If everything starts to click for the Panthers, they've got him, they've got the new QB who are start. They're being plucky and they're battling this season, but they need a few more pieces. It's a bit of a shame they've given away next year's first round to the Bears because their Bears are going to clean up.
They have to be hating that right now.
Oh, the Bears are going to clean up next draft, aren't they? Well, they should do, but
it's the Bears.
It's the Bears, right? Yeah, exactly.
We don't need to worry about the Bears.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
not since 1985.
Yeah, not since the Peyton years and the fridge, right? And,
yeah.
Yeah, this one's a bit. This is a balance. There's a balance to it. I think it's. Yeah, I was looking at it from a dynasty point of view, with the potential of how good that two could be going forward. But as a 1 year, as you say, if you're all in on Miller, then yeah, I think this is balanced. This is a fair enough trade. This passes the eye test. The previous one, I was a bit like, well, that's
All right. I'm 100% honest with myself. I do believe I'm a realist. I know I am going way out on a limb for Miller. But for every year for the past 6 years, I have predicted Kamara to be injured and have a terrible season. And 1 year, I am going to be correct.
The hill you're going to die on.
And so I'm going to have Miller as that guy this year. Yep. All right. So I actually would probably tip the scale towards McGee in this trade. He does have Charbonneau, which I think is putting up better numbers. However, Miller had, I think, 12 points today. Mm-hmm. So, that's a solid outing. But as you said, against the Pats. And as we saw today, you don't need to be a good team to beat the Pats by 38 points. Because the Niners whipped up on the Cowboys 42 to what? 42-10, I believe.
42-10.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I don't think anybody saw the 32-point spread. I don't think anyone thought that coming.
I knew it was going to be a tough game.
Well, I thought it was going to be a tough game.
I was not expecting to really, I thought the Niners have the better team. But as a Cowboys fan, you have eternal hope.
It's the hope that gets you.
Yeah. By halftime, I was already sick. I couldn't. I watched the first 5-6 minutes of the third quarter, turned the game off. I couldn't do it anymore.
When all starters went out at the end of the third quarter, you knew it was like, wow, that's a beatdown, right? It's like,
yeah. There was no way that the Cowboys did not look good at all today.
It didn't look good in any phase either. That's kind of the more worry from a Cowboys perspective. You guys, your defense, your vaunted defense got shredded. Your offense just nothing, couldn't get anything going, and then your special teams were just constantly just like, just kick the ball away. You had nothing. I mean, Turpin, yes, he looks like, I think, did he go out injured after the
Turpin did leave injured? Yes.
Yeah, so I think he caught that TD, didn't he, and went out injured and didn't see him again, which is going to be a knock on the returning game as well. So it's just like it was just painful for the Cowboys, and I'm saying that in a nice sympathetic way whilst inside smiling out the top of my head.
It's a good day to be a Niners fan.
I mean, there was a lot of
don't worry, Gary. As a Cowboys fan, we are used to disappointment,
especially against us. Yeah.
Oh no. Well, I will say we have won more meaningful games against the Niners.
You are 4-2 in the championship games. We'll give you that.
Yes. All right. So what do we have next, Johnny? I think we have some
interesting. So we got a question there. Somebody
football strategy with Gary.
Yeah. So, somebody needs to find another way to get an RB on their team.
Yeah. So now I'm not sure who Uwe Kicks is, but the way that when he says for sure, it makes me think that it's McGee, but I'm not sure. But McGee usually signs in under his McGee account. So I don't know whose team this is, but he signs in usually every week. He's a regular listener.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for Uwe?
I mean,
Kicks.
I mean, if you're desperate and you need an RB, then you've got to look at who is your sellable asset, right? And if you're that desperate for a running back, you've got to look at your own roster and go, are you stashing somebody in, and are you heavy in wide receiver? Is there somebody there that's a sellable asset? Have you got somebody like Williams, Detroit? Have you got an Amon Ra that you can put on the trade block that you can dangle the carrot? You need a carrot. If you're looking for a running back, you need to be dangling something that people are going to want to buy. You can't you're not going to throw Aaron Rodgers out there and hope that somebody's going to give you something, right?
Because it's not a dynasty league, right? Yeah. So right now, I would be putting Chase out there.
Yeah, selling high, right?
Burrow being hurt.
Yep, Burrow hurt. He's just had a big game. I mean, you got to throw him out there. You got to throw, if you've got one of the Miami twins.
Yeah, why not? You can get a good receiver in return with a moderately good, running back to go with that package. Certainly some good ideas there. I would put one of those high-priced wide receivers on there.
Yeah, put a package out there. Why not? If you've got a high-priced something and throw in a middling, tight end, and then you can maybe pick up two good returns. You're probably not going to get one of your top 5, let's be honest, but you might get, as you say, two good ones in return for a high value and a middle or a low end.
That's right.
Don't be too greedy, I think, is probably the best way of looking at it. Take what you can get.
Especially if you got to have a running back. I got lucky and got Kyron Williams off the waiver wire this
nice
year.
Pick.
So, yeah. So one of the things I'm always interested in, because I will tell you my strategy first. I used to have a draft board with players ranked of mine the way I wanted it, and the ones that I wanted on my team and the ones that I didn't want on my team. And I had all these papers, and I was really into the draft process. Later on, that evolved to kind of I'll just wait to see who's available. Yep. So I'm curious on what you do. What is your strategy when it comes to drafting?
All right. So in all transparency, this is only my second year properly playing fantasy, right? So
okay.
I've only got 42 teams this year, which is a knockdown from last year. Most of those are best ball because a lot of that's just kind of one and done.
Okay.
And I
Best
learned that
ball,
last year.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
one and done. Just kind of throw everything in there and hope for the best, right? So I've read loads of books, loads of strategy books. Drafting for dummies, get your tiers, sort out all this, and then I realized that's a lot of hard work.
It is.
There's
You're putting a lot of time into
You
that.
got to put a lot of time and a lot of effort into that for something which, and this is where I think the UK is we need to kind of put a little slant on that. There's no money involved in it for fantasy over here. Okay, I know it's charity and stuff like that, so it's not a business. It's not. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun. It just adds to the enjoyment of the game, right? So
That's right.
you see all these fantasy analysts on Twitter, and you see them all, break this down, do that, and it's like, really? And then you kind of forget that DraftKings and money and everyone bets on it, and it's huge over in the States. It's like, okay, that kind of makes a lot more sense. But over here, it's like it's a bit of fun. It adds to the enjoyment, and it's a bit of like a banter of the Orkney. But we have a load of banter on the WhatsApp chat and whatever else. So it's more on that front. So I kind of went, I could read all this stuff and I could really delve into it, or I could just kind of see where the chips lie when it's my go. And if you've seen any draft that I've done, there's a couple of players that I go, I really want to get that guy this year. If I have to get, like this year, didn't matter where I went, I wanted to get Ayuk in every team I could because I just knew he was going to go off,
Ayuk
right?
this year as well.
Yeah, so I knew he was going to go off. And Laporta was another one that I thought was going to be like a perfect fit.
I came late to
Detroit.
Laporta in the draft.
Yeah, Hawkinson left, and Hawkinson was a stud at Detroit, and it was like, well, there was nobody else in Detroit. Laporta was going to step in and do exactly the same thing, so I was big on him. But anything else is like, what's the best available when I get there, or am I at the head of the chain, or am I in a QB rush? I better jump in a QB. And I've done badly on QBs in a lot of my teams because I've kind of gone, I can wait and see what's available down later on. Reading a couple of books, never take a QB unless it's
in the
rounds,
3 or 4 rounds,
three
right?
or 4 rounds.
And
then you suddenly look at what's left and you go, great, I've got Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder was my starter somewhere this week.
I have one team. I have Desmond Ridder and Sam Howell as my
Gardner Minshew
in a super flex league.
Yeah. So I mean, strategy-wise, is kind of like I'm just still winging it. I'm still learning where I'm going. So it's when it's my go, and if I get tagged, and I remember who it is, because there's with that many leagues, sometimes I've missed a few and just gone in and gone, who did I? Oh, that'll have to do.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, if I was lucky enough to be early in any draft, McCaffrey was a shoe-in for whatever pick I had. If I was picking first, McCaffrey was always in there. But anything else has always been like, what's the number one? What's the ADP? But I haven't looked at ADP so much on Sleeper because I think Sleeper's a bit when it comes to ADP.
Is kind of out of whack, especially in the
completely.
Leagues, I think, and
they don't seem to. Yeah, there's nothing. They don't seem to tailor it to whatever league and whatever scoring you've got to that league. It's kind of like a generic thing. So you can easily go in and go, look, that's the number one ADP. It's the highest value, and you're like, it's Jonathan Taylor. He's on pup list for 4 weeks. You're not going to take him right now. It's like, why would you take? Yeah,
makes no sense.
So it's been a bit of that. So it's based on hunches, gut. But also, nothing massively in terms of strategy. It's not been that sort of thing. I've just kind of gone in and see what's available and hope that I don't make a complete fool of myself. And I have on occasions.
The first time I played fantasy football, I was in high school, a junior in high school. I don't know how that relates to the UK school system, but I was about 16, 17 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
And this was so long ago that we did not have the ESPN fantasy leagues. It was a mail-in league. So they would mail you a package each week. You would have to write your starters down. And if you wanted a free agent, you would write down the free agent and the list that you wanted first, second, third, fourth. And then you would mail it back.
Crazy. I mean, I'd say that,
get your results.
Bizarre. I mean, I did try fantasy, I say about 10 years ago in the UK, maybe longer. And it wasn't mail-in, obviously, but it was like, I think it was Yahoo or something.
Oh yeah, Yahoo. I'm not a big fan of Yahoo, but it's not bad. I mean, it's not
bad. I mean, now it's probably not, but back then it was awful, and it was awful for the UK guys, right? Because we didn't have any. We had no access.
Yahoo 10 years ago, it was terrible.
We had no access to like data or any of the stats or anything like that. We were in the
Mm.
UK. We were just like, oh, I like that player, I like that team, and that was all you
Yeah.
kind of went on. And it just died a horrible death because you kept
Yes.
forgetting to check in and whatever else. Now it's a bit different. Sleeper has revolutionized fantasy, I think, for a lot
Oh,
of
certainly.
casual
They've made
players because
ESPN look like minor leagues in a
yeah,
lot of ways.
and let's not talk MFL because that
That
thing is that's a
that's
clunky
ancient.
beast.
Oh
Has
my
to be ousted.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because it seems like that a lot of players are holding on to that going, this was a great tool and whatever else. And you can see that, but the world's moved on and everyone just wants instant access on their phone. And,
Mm.
Sleeper is just great for that instant access stuff. So it's made
Sleeper
it a lot
does
more
have
open.
issues, but
It
I
still
would
has
take
its niggles, yeah, but I'll take it over trying to work it on. I've got another league does it on MFL, and you're like, oh, this is such a clunky way of doing it on your phone. It's horrible. So
Yeah, I like your way of drafting. I have learned that, I can win by drafting players I don't like. Right?
I'm still not quite
I
there
never
yet.
feel, like I'm really proud of that team because then I find myself rooting for players I don't want to succeed. Like, I don't want any Eagles or Giants or Washington Commanders player to ever succeed.
Yeah. It's
So
like
I
it's
don't
interesting. I
want
think in one
Jalen
of my
Hurts as my QB.
it's interesting. I think in one of my leagues I had the Dallas defense last night, and it's like I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And so I usually steer away from players I don't like, and I have almost all my teams are having very similar players, so they either all do well or they all do poorly. But at least I pull for the players I like, and I like it when my teams win. And yeah, I'm with you. It's for fun.
Yeah.
So I draft
And
the
I suppose
guys I like.
that's different. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, I haven't quite got to the stay away from the homer picks. You're still going to pick players that you like, whatever else. I've not quite got into the don't ever pick a Seahawk or don't ever pick a Cowboy.
Yeah.
Although, no, actually, I think I picked the Cowboys defense in general because, it seemed like a sensible pick at the time. But that's about the limit. I haven't got CD Lamb. I haven't got Dak. I haven't got any. It was almost like, stay away. Every other team was open, but no, I couldn't pick a Cowboy.
Only recently I've been able to take the Niners on my team.
Well, you have to, right?
Yeah.
All
right.
If you want to win in
I
fantasy, you got to put
that.
some Niners in there somewhere.
Yeah, they're too good not to have a couple on there, I guess. Okay, Gary, I think I like your strategy. I have one more question. Real quick. What is the most important position group to fill first? Or just the most important position group? Running back, wide receiver, quarterback, tight end. What is the most important? Using the Orkney Bowl as our template.
Okay, right. That narrows it down a little bit, I suppose. It has to be QB now. It used to be. I know it used to be fill your running backs and get your workers, but you don't get workhorse running backs anymore. There's too much running backs by committee. There's too much, sharing the load around. Okay, you get the odd anomaly. You get Saquon at the Giants, or you get CMC, where you have to get him in. But most places now are running backs. You got 3, 4, and who do you pick, and whatever else.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky one. It used to be, everything was running back, but the amount of points that get put up by mobile using their legs QBs, or Hurts, Mahomes, people like that who just racking up more points than a running back is, or more points than your wide receivers. It you have to get it. It's one of those interesting ones. If you get a top 5 QB, you've got to be getting a top 5 QB. If you're picking early, you've got to get a QB early. If you're 7, 8, 9, 10, then you've got to be looking at an elite wide receiver. I think it depends on where you're drafting. It's a really tricky situation. I think if you're not getting, let's say, Mahomes, Chase, Hurts, Fields, and another, and that fifth one is always like a toss up of who you're going to get. Then you got to be looking at JJ. You got to be looking at your consistent point scorers, and that's where it gets tricky, because who's going to consistently score you points. So QBs and wide receivers, I think it's a passing league now. It's gone away from running backs. It's gone away from a workhorse running back. You got to be getting your elite QBs and your wide receivers. It's got to be your target, or should be your target. Not that, I mean, I know the theory. Whether or not I do that is a different matter altogether.
Same here. There'll be a top 5 wide receiver that I like, AJ Brown. I'm like, well, I don't want AJ Brown.
Who else is left? Oh no!
And then I'm over
I
here
think
going,
Dell.
oh
Yeah.
man. And I always end up, getting the guy I shouldn't get
Yeah.
and just taking AJ Brown. But that's okay. I'm with you on that. I agree. I remember the days that the team that had the best running backs always won, period. Or who had the most depth at running back always won, no matter what. It was already done week 1. You just knew.
You just knew that that's the team. Yep.
A lot. And I'm wondering if that's because of the sleeper scoring system, because now you can have, a lot more wide receiver spots and the flex spots and then the super flex. It just changes everything, the whole complexion of the scoring systems.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got next, Johnny? Last week we talked about the Detroit Lions because they had just whooped up. I believe it was the Bears at the time, right?
Yeah.
And just killed them. Embarrassed them, and they looked awesome on offense. Now, Miami Dolphins, I just read that they have the NFL record for yards, points, and the top 7 speed players in the NFL are all on the Dolphins. Their offense is lights out.
Mm-hmm.
So they have so many stars. He didn't even put Tyreek Hill on this list because
I mean, it's like,
you got to have Tyreek Hill.
Haven't even got Tua on there. I mean,
yeah, we don't even have Tua. Well, yeah, you're going to play Tua right now.
Well, actually, it looks like I have the picture of Tyreek Hill, but I forgot to put his name on it, and I forgot to put A-Chain in. That's what it is.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the cheater there in a corner, isn't it?
Because I tried to squeeze in Claypool because he just arrived.
Yeah, and just think, I think Jeff Wilson is on the team as well, right?
Well, he's on IR,
but he's not rushing back. There's no need to rush him back.
Yeah, just imagine when he comes back. I mean,
yeah. So basically, you've got A-Chain, Hill. Did A-Chain have the fastest run? Then Hill did it with the next play.
Yep. A-Chain was 21.8 miles an hour, and then Hill came in and did 22 miles an hour.
Yeah.
I think saw a touchdown with it. Yeah, and he was caught with it.
I was watching Red Zone when they did that. Yeah.
And Mostert's pretty fast as well, and Waddle's pretty fast.
Claypool. Yeah, Mostert had the number 3 fastest, I believe. Yeah. So the top 7, there are 3 players.
Yeah.
Hill's number 1, A-Chain number 2, and then Mostert. And then the other 4 fastest speeds are all Hill, A-Chain, and Mostert. So, I mean, the top 7.
And then they've added Chase Claypool, who's no slouch. Yeah, Claypool is no slouch.
And then you have Waddle that had a good game today.
I know.
It was nice to see him get his TD finally.
Yeah, so it's almost an embarrassment of riches there. But you can say this, the Niners have got that sort of similar thing where people look at it and go, "That's just not fair." You've got, Ayuk and CMC and Kittle, but this is it's just pure speed, isn't it? McDaniel's has just gone out and gone, I want to run quick, I want to do motions, and you're just not going to be able. You can't cover all of these. You can't keep up with all of these. The only potential sort of if you can get to Tua, the O line's not quite up to the. But then I'm saying you got to give them time to get open, but you don't really need to give Tyreek Hill that much time to get open, right? It's the first step, first 2 steps, he's gone. So, yeah, some of the lanes that they're opening on their running game, they've obviously borrowed heavily from, McDaniel's time in the West Coast. So he's taken a lot of the motion, he's taken a lot of the pre-snap work with him, and it's paying dividends down there in Florida. But yeah, it's I think the only weakness I would suggest on the offense is the tight end who's not very mentioned in any of the conversations.
He's putting up, I think he's top 10 right now. Let me see. Let me go into sleeper. Let me find out where he is in our, players, tight end 2023 season in points. Smith is top 20. Yeah, so he's not up there as high as I thought.
There's only one ball, right? That's the problem.
Oh, wait. I had ADP. Let me change this. Yeah, that's right. There is only one ball. And, when there's only one ball, who are you gonna? That leads to the question I have with like Mostert and A-Chain. Are they must starts every week now? I mean, there's 2 running backs, there's 1 ball, right? There's already got Waddle and Hill. You got to start Waddle every week, right?
Mm-hmm. Because it's a toughie though, isn't it? Because you think you'd like to start Hill, but you got to think that teams are going to start doubling Hill, which should then lead to Waddle starting to eat a lot more. But the running back situation is a tricky one because you'd think, can you afford for them both to start and have that's your running back, room for that week? Because what happens if, Mostert gets a hot hand and, McDaniels just sticks with him and HN just sitting on the bench or coming in for third down or whatever else? I'd almost say that HN is probably a better bet for starting than Mostert now.
I think at this time, yeah.
I think he's on the ups, whereas they know what Raheem can do, and he still can do it very well. But I think they like Achan a little more because he's their rookie, he's come through and stuff. So it's a tough one, but you definitely gonna be wanting to get some Miami offense into your team in whatever way you can. But unfortunately, they're all going to be costly now.
Exactly, it's one of those things that you want A-Chain on your team, but every week you're wondering, is he going to get his touches?
He's going to get enough feeds. Is he going to get enough touch? Right. I mean, although what was he getting? I think this week he got something insane like 16 yards a carry. It was some
the first half, man, he was, oh my god, the first 3 carries, I think he had 100 yards.
Just like. And so you see some of them, and nobody's even laying a hand on him, and he's like,
yeah, it's crazy. That Dolphins offense, I haven't seen one like that since the Rams back in the early 2000s when they had Falk and Warner and Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. That was an amazing offense. Even their third wide receiver, I can't remember his name now. It was a funny name. They were awesome. And this Dolphin offense, I think, is for real until Tua gets hurt.
Or they come up against a division rival, because Buffalo kind of gave them a bit of a hiding, which is weird when you consider where Buffalo have ended up after that. It was Miami came off the 70-20, and I mean it's an up and down. When they fire, they're absolutely terrifying, but they look like they can get off the boil as well. So
I'd love to know Luke's opinion on this. Let's see if he's here. Luke is a huge Dolphins fan, but by the way, next week we'll be doing the 49ers, I believe. So
I like that. Huh.
All right. So I think we have a Believe It or Not segment up next, Gary. So what is this? These are up to week 4. We do not have the week 5 stats. We did not have time to update the current rankings. These are week 4 rankings based on their point totals in the Courtney Bowl point system, such as Russell Wilson was the number 8 QB, top 10 QB with 101 points. So
it just shows
you believe it or not. Are you going to keep starting him, or are you going to keep him on the bench?
No, he's definitely going to be on the bench. I mean, it just shows that how much of a drop off some of the other bigger QBs have had, that he's in the top 10, because the Denver Broncos are bad. It's a bad team.
They are
bad
terrible.
team. And he's bad. He's cooked now. Russell is cooked. I mean, we thought last year was teething issues and whatever else. It's just a bad team. How was he in a top 10? And then you think, well, hang on, Burrow's been injured. A couple of guys really haven't fired yet and whatever else. So, yeah, I'm shocked that he's that high, but I don't imagine he'll no way in the world will he stay in the top 10 after another couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think that
if you can sell high on Wilson now, if somebody wants to take him, right?
Yeah, he was showing his decline the last 2 seasons in Seattle.
Yeah,
which
Seattle.
you were seeing.
Oh, I'm so glad that he's out of the division. He used to torch us all the time. But Seattle fleeced Denver at the absolutely the best time to trade him. And what a trade. That trade just gets better and better for Seattle every year. And it's so painful to watch because they've restocked, they've restacked, and they're building a great team in Seattle off of the back of they fleecing Denver. And they must be laughing all the way to the. Well, Denver can't be laughing all the way to the bank because they then extended his massive contract with a huge deal. And it's like, why did you do that when you have? And then go and get Sean Payton, who doesn't want Russell Wilson as his QB. So there's something brewing in Denver that's going to go horribly wrong soon enough, and I cannot wait to see it.
But, they're stuck with Wilson. He signed that
guaranteed
5
like
deal
or something. Yeah, it's like
$80 million guaranteed or something like that. I don't know if Johnny can look that up and put that in the chat box. But that was amazing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Russell Wilson was probably a guaranteed Hall of Fame quarterback if he stayed with the Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to be the focal point. He wanted to cook. He wanted to be Danger Wilson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted out. He forced his way out. And that trade probably is going to keep him out of the Hall of Fame. Geno is doing that all by, Geno's looking like the Hall of Fame quarterback right now. It's the system in Seattle, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting to see when, Seattle finally got rid of Russell Wilson, and the first thing they do in the draft is take 2 offensive linemen, whereas for 10 years they hadn't even bothered to get anybody to protect him. It was almost like a slap in the face. But yeah, and Geno Smith getting comeback player of the year still irks me from last year, to be honest. But he only came back from being just not very good anywhere else. So what did he come back from?
So Russell Wilson had 23 points this week, and he's still number 8. So, yeah.
It was against the Bears, though, right?
It was against the Bears.
So you got to temper that a little bit.
All right. Who do we have next? Believe it or not, is who we got? Justin Fields. Well, actually, I think after this week, he's gone up. Let's see. What rank is he now? As of now, he is the number 3 quarterback in the Orchid Bowl.
And he's got a good set of games coming up where he can start to go back to that sort of scoring a lot. I think I saw something on Twitter that he's actually outscoring his 2022 projection at the moment. So even though the Bears are a bad team, and they are bad. I mean, they lost to Denver. Did they lose?
Yeah.
No, they somehow managed to beat Denver. Didn't Denver manage to self-implode again? I can't remember. But either way, both two of those are bad teams with QBs that are scoring well beyond what you expect them to be.
It could be a repeat of last year. Fields started slowly. People thought he was done. He's going to be a backup, by the end of the year. And then he finished the season on fire. Mm-hmm. And he could just now be heating up. But I had predicted, I think, in week 1 that Justin Fields would be a backup by 2025. So yeah. I'm not feeling it. But I think
I just saw what Johnny just put on the track around the bottom there. Is a dead cap value of $107 million on Russell Wilson for 20.
Oh my gosh!
So as you say, they're absolutely stuck with him. There's no way anyone's going to take that contract off their hands. So wow.
No.
How do we feel about Fields? I mean, he's a great athlete. He's a great athlete in a very bad team.
So you would stay away from Fields, or you would start him?
No, I'd still take him. Because he's going to score your points. Because Chicago got nothing else. They're going to get to the stage like it was at the end of last year, where it was like, Justin, you're just going to have to put it on your own shoulders and, run with it, do whatever it is you can to kind of. And it was interesting because I thought the Bears did uplift their offense this year for him, get a few sort of more playmakers in, but that it sounds to me like it's a organization that's just one bad mauling or one bad injury away from self-implosion. The whole press conference last week, whenever it was, when Justin was like, well, the reason I'm playing the way I am is coaching. The defensive coordinator then leaves. It's like,
For what reason? No one knows.
No one really knows. It's like, oh, there's some.
Really? I think we know.
Mhm.
I think we know.
I think we know, but it's sort of like you're the fall guy. But yeah, it just seems to me like all
Well,
they need is.
no, the FBI raided his house.
Did they though? Is that
Yes.
rumored? Was that I thought that was unfounded, and I thought that got blown out.
I thought it actually
Oh,
happened, but I keep waiting.
it's one of those.
Apparently they went to Chicago headquarters as well. But that's something that Chicago keeps saying no comment about. So
When they don't comment, then you think there's got to be smoke. No smoke.
there's
Without
got to be
fire and
something
stuff, right?
going on
Yep.
there, right? Yeah. Right now I would probably go with Fields, even though earlier this season I said no, that you got to go with the hot hand, as you said. Kyron Williams, I have him on several teams, probably at least a good 25-30%, which is a high number. I've got 30 teams. So I got about 10 shares of him, at least. Prior to this week, he was the number 3 running back, right? Let's see where he is right now.
It's probably not dropped too much, right?
Let's see. Kyron Williams. He is the number 5 running back. So you got some hot sauce on him there. I know how much you like hot sauce. Put some hot sauce on Williams. Put him out there.
Get him out there. You've got to, right? You've got to let him run because the inevitable divorce that happened from Cam Akers had to get out of LA after last year. Somehow they managed to reintegrate him for the playoff run and whatever else, but it was never a long-term fix and never going to work. And then literally shipped him out for peanuts to Minnesota, which is a weird trade in itself because Minnesota aren't even running the ball. What? He's done, right? He's done. But yeah, so this is a great one to pick and great one to have in your stable. Sometimes the Rams are better than I thought they would be this year, quite frankly. I think they surprised a few people.
I'm wavering. They're in a
I
tough division.
I don't think they're good enough to make the playoffs. I think, us and the Seahawks will come out of our division and then, I don't know, the rest of the NFC. Yeah, the Rams have got a chance. They've got a chance of getting that wild card.
Falcons, you got, shoot. Now
the Buccaneers are, even the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers are definitely, I had the Falcons winning that division.
I did too, but then Mayfield's turned up and did Baker things.
Yeah. So I was thinking the extra playoff team was going to be coming out of the NFC West. I did not have, I had the Cowboys and the Eagles out of the East. One team out of the North.
Only one? Right. I would have thought, I'd have thought Minnesota and Detroit would have come out of the North.
Minnesota, man.
But Minnesota, they've regressed from their, they were so lucky last year with how many wins they got by the odd
one-score wins, right?
Yeah.
I think they were 5-0 in the first 6 weeks with one-score victories, and this year they're 0-5 in the first 5 weeks.
Yeah,
there's 0-4 or something. Nico Collins. I know that I have a few friends in a few leagues that are really high on Nico right now, giving up some big name players to get Nico. How you feeling about Nico? Believe it or not, is he here for real, or is it time for putting him back on the bench?
Oh no, I think Stroud's airing it out. I think I caught some red zone yesterday when they were on, and it was he's putting it 300 yards plus a game. They're not necessarily winning. Wait, am I getting them right? Am I getting Stroud and Young mixed up? I can't remember now.
Stroud is the Houston guy. Yeah,
right.
He's the
okay.
300 yards. Right now, Nico is number 11. By the way, number 11.
Yeah, I got a feeling that.
Not running back. Yeah.
I mean, he's head and shoulders above any other wide receiver they've got there in Houston. But I've got a feeling that Tank Dell's starting to come in and start to be taking that slot. So I would sell Nico if you've got him because he's quite high now, and I think I would sell him and try and see if you can maybe swap him for Dell because I think Dell's going to come through and see what you can get. Yeah.
So in a dynasty, you would go with Dell over Nico. Yeah. Perhaps in the Orkney Bowl, you'd stick with Collins over Dell.
I might just dangle him out there and see if you get any bites. To be honest.
Yeah, this would be a good guy to get a running back for if one kicks has.
If Huey kicks, Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny
Oh,
just said that Tank Dell got injured. Yeah, I was
I think he got
thinking
banged. I got concussion or something, didn't he? Was it
I didn't know how bad.
I thought he went out for concussion, so that's a good.
Let's see here.
Just
Yeah,
acquired
except for
Nico
his
Sol.
head injury. That's all we know. We don't know anything else.
I think he's in the protocol. Yeah.
Yeah, with
Interesting.
concussion. He'll be back.
Yeah.
I just acquired Nico and sold Barkley. Yeah. So right here, Luke traded
Flipped it the other way. Yeah.
for Nico.
Yeah.
Not in our work league. This is a dynasty league. Which I like that.
I like that because Barkley's, the Giants defense. Sorry, Jonah. The Giants are also another bad team who are being found out this year.
And I think the best of Barkley is over to me.
And again, as we mentioned about running back,
actually, with Bryce Young at the helm, Adam Thielen has been balling this year.
He had a good game, Young. Yeah,
is in the top 15.
Rolling back the years.
What's that, Gary?
He's been rolling back the years now, isn't he? He's back to his Minnesota heyday. He's scoring points. He's a safety blanket. He balled out this week as well. I'm surprised, yes, but not surprised, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Thielen's performed every year. I think last year he's had a little bit of a down year. But, he's the number 9 wide receiver right now at 33 years old.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you look at you look at the Panthers, and you got Mingo's coming through, rookie. You've got a lot of Chark is there, but he's a frustrating player, is DJ Chark. And then you got Thielen, who's your safety blanket. He's always going to be. He's like a Cooper Kupp, right? He's not going to be flashy. He's not going to be speedy. He's not going to burn you, but he's always going to be open. He's always going to find the soft side. He's always going to be a safety blanket for a rookie QB. I'm not in the least bit surprised that he's doing well. And long may it continue if you've got him.
And I like the guy. I'm proud that he's up there. I like the guy. He's a good guy. So would you start him every week?
I mean, be wide receiver 3 every week
He's certainly good enough for a wide receiver 3. Certainly. Yeah. Or especially when the flex spots, right?
If you got a flex spot, you've got to put him in.
Who do we have next? Logan Thomas, number 6. I think he's going to be higher.
I think he's going to higher. He had a big week.
Yeah. I think he's going to be higher this week than he was. Let's see. Where is he this week? He dropped down a little bit, it looks like. He is the number 11 tight end.
Because George Kittle had a week. Couple of tight ends had a good week. That's why. So it's not surprising that he's gone south after a couple of big tight end weeks. So
do you believe Logan Thomas being back and injury-free and starting every week as tight end 1? You'd be comfortable with that?
I prefer Laporta, but, that's just me. I'm just really high on him. That's why.
What about Pitts or Thomas?
Thomas. Pitts is you just stay away from Pitts after last year.
Yeah, I tell you. Oh, my gosh.
Have to stay away from Pitts. I mean, and Atlanta have got 2 stud running backs. You don't want to touch any receiving tight end in Atlanta because all they're going to do is feed the running backs the ball. You're not going to go and get Bijan Robinson and have Tyler Algier and not give them the ball. Right. And they're a run first team, so you don't want to be wasting time. If you can get Thomas over Pitts, I'd take Thomas because Sam Howell loves his tight ends, and safety blanket. The guy's back. He's a big body, and get Thomas.
Yeah. I have a lot of Pitts, and I have this one guy in another league. He every week he rails against Pitts, but he won't take anything but a top 5 first round pick for him, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
but I'm not giving that.
But the thing is, Pitts should be that. He should be, but he's not. And he should be that. That's the kind of pick you should be getting for that guy because he's a freak of an athlete. He should be way up there, but he's just either in the wrong team. He's just not got the connection with the QB. Don't know what it is, but he's a big disappointment, big bust
in there. And with the run first offense, tight ends usually fare fairly well. Yeah, I think Johnny might be right. Maybe it's the wrong QB, but Ritter had a good week this week. We'll see how the Falcons
He's not lost at home for 4 years. I think the stat was. didn't lose at home at college. He hasn't lost at home as a starting QB for the Falcons. Can't play away from Atlanta. But...
I love stories like that. So go Ritter. All right, I think it's time for our picks, Gary. What do we got next? Do we have another player? It's time for our Monday night picks. I think we have the Packers versus the
Raiders.
You want to go first, Gary, or you want me to tell you my pick?
Yeah, you go first because
I'm going the Packers all the way, 100%. The Green Bay Packers will destroy the Raiders.
Destroy the Raiders.
Well, I say destroy 10+ points.
Ooh, I don't know because Josh Jacobs is due a game, right? And the Packers have a tendency of letting running backs run on them. So I don't know. But then the Raiders are led by Jimmy, and you can never back on Jimmy. So yeah, I'll take the Packers probably by 3 or 4, but I wouldn't. I think
so, Johnny, who do you have?
John's
yes, I have that. Yeah, I'm just
You're going with the Packers as well,
and so is Pez.
And so is Pez. So it's a straight 4-way. All 4 of us are going with the Packers. Is that right, Gary?
Yes.
Love, believe it or not.
Yeah, I to say I'm umming and ahhing. I'm on the fence, but yeah, I think the Packers, if that's the big one. If Jones is fully fit and Aaron Jones is running, then the Packers will probably eat the clock and do enough there. And Jimmy will always give you at least 2 picks. So
Yeah, I don't know. Luke wanted to know if Jones was fully fit. I think he's back all the way, but I'm not 100% on that. I haven't seen any injury news about Jones being hurt this season.
He was still questionable, but I'm hoping he's playing. But I think I've got Musgrove on my bench just in case he doesn't play. Because
Musgrove, is he going to be back from?
Yeah, he's not. He's not. I think he's back. But I think I've already won my game in Orkney Bowl this week, so it doesn't really matter. But I've got him in my home league, Jones, and I've got no replacement, so I'm hoping he does play. Yeah. And I'm up against Jimmy G, so I'm hoping he has an absolute stinker.
It's a Monday night game. Jimmy G will probably step out of the end zone.
Yeah,
hopefully. Many times.
I'm not bitter about that Sunday night primetime game, staying up till 5 a.m. in the UK watching Jimmy G step out of the end zone against Denver last year. Not at all. Not a waste of 5 hours that I can never get back.
I'm pretty sure Douglason's right up there. I'm also up against Miles. I'm hoping Miles doesn't play very well. So.
He gets too much hate. He hasn't been terrible.
He's been Jimmy.
He's been Jimmy.
Maybe. I think Adams is out. Right?
What?
I think
Which Adams?
I didn't know he was out.
Let's see.
Which Adams?
Devontae Adams one day. Well, this was 1 day ago. Game time decision.
Oh.
He'll be fine. He'll play.
Yeah, he'll play. He'll want to play against Green Bay.
Yeah, former team, right? He's going to be pumped.
He's playing. He's going to be
take that injection.
And that could be the interesting one. Javonte could just take that game over if he's really up for it and just says to Jimmy, just feed me the ball, just get me the ball. I'm going to take this on. Could be one of those.
All right. So what do we have next? We have our lock of the week.
So I'll let you know what Pez is sensing. He's not
all right.
here.
What does Pez have for his lock of the week?
The 49ers. And I also have the 49ers.
The 49ers. All right. I want to, I made these predictions before the week 5 games. So I'm going to look at your message here. And I think I might be, let's see. Lock of the week. I am also going to go with the 49ers.
49ers, yes.
Yes. I cannot believe they're only giving 3.5 points to the Browns.
Yeah,
sorry, Pat.
Crazy.
I like you, mate, but I don't think the Browns are going to stay on the field. They could be closer than the Cowboys, certainly. But I am going with the 49ers to win by, outright.
More than 3. That's a crazy line. That's going to surely that's going to stretch during the week after what happened this morning. Then I'm surprised that's
Well, that
where it
was it. That was the odds this morning when I looked on Sky Bet because they didn't have odds. They didn't have the line yesterday. They had it this morning. So
interesting.
unless they've not woken up and they've just said, "Oh, there you go."
Well, somebody's missed a 2 off the front of that. That's what they've realised. It should be 22.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the
Right.
Browns aren't that bad of a team.
Well, they got the Bills at 14.5 or something against the Giants, which should probably be a lot more than that as well, to be honest.
Yeah, they got the Dolphins at 14.5 over the Panthers. So yeah, I don't know what. Again, it's Sky, right? Sky have a bias against the Niners. So
Maybe.
Oh,
no, they do.
I would definitely take the Niners as the lock over the Browns. All right,
they'll get punished in that one.
Yeah.
So who are you going, Gary?
I'm going a little bit left field because that's a no-brainer. I mean, everyone knows that's going to work. But I reckon that the Saints over the Texans is a lock there.
Okay, yeah, I was looking at that. That's I like that pick.
Just because, just rather than just being a home field,
so the Saints are
a favorite there, right? No, yes, 2.5. Yeah.
No, they have the Texans as no way.
Yeah. Texas 2.5. No. Yeah.
These lines are crazy. There's no way they have the Texans as favorites. The Saints just won by 30 points?
34-0.
Yeah. Or something like that?
That's right, Johnny, right?
Yeah, well, according to that, it is, but surely there must be something wrong. Everybody should go to Sky Bet now and bet on that one.
I'm gonna
money
check
on
this.
that. I mean,
NFL
get on the Sky Bet. I'm sorry, you got to. If that's true, then get on Sky Bet. That's a double right there. Surely you just got to go in there and get that.
Well, that was the screenshot this morning I sent you. So.
Yeah.
49ers.
Sports line. Let's see what Sports Line has. Let's see. The Sports Line.
There isn't even a sports one for the 49ers. It's blank. The Saints are minus. The Saints are minus 2.5.
Okay, yeah. The Saints are 2.5 point under favorites. That's right. Okay.
That's what it is in Sky Bet as well. But I thought they're more than 2.5.
And here on Sports Line, the line for the Niners have moved to 4.5.
Still, it's not a lot.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're thinking the Browns defense is better than the Dallas defense.
Is it in Cleveland?
Yep.
They're a bit mental at home, so
they
but
are.
Still, they should still win.
Surprised with that. I would take the Niners because we don't use the spreads, but we use it only as to pick our lock because we have to pick a favorite. And so
the way Doug's been going on this morning, Purdy's going to be MVP.
So we have 3 49ers.
MVP CMC this year. Yep.
I hope so.
And the underdog of the week. Now you can pick any underdog you want. It doesn't matter a point spread because we just do straight out wins. Johnny, who do you and Pez have?
I'll just have a look. Underdog. Pez has gone for the Buccaneers. And I've gone for the Bears. I was going to go Seattle because they're not favourite to win that game, but I went for the Bears.
The Bears.
You've really gone for one after last night's games, yeah.
Yeah, I'm changing my underdog.
I would do that too before anybody else sees that one because that's
I'm not
did
really
not
happy.
pick the Patriot. Please tell me you did not pick the Patriot.
Well,
allegedly
I did pick the Patriots, but it's allowed to change because it's not gone on yet. So who are you going now then?
All right, I'm just taking a look here. The Patriots are +3. The Bucs are +3. Wow, look at that. I can't believe that the Jets are only 6.5 point underdogs to the Eagles. That is shocking.
The Eagles have not been good this year. They have not clicked yet.
Yeah, but they've done enough to win. So.
All right,
like I said, the Bears are underdogs, and so are Seattle underdogs against Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with, actually. I'm going to go with Pez's favorite team. Keep it in the NFC West out here with my lock and underdog. I'm going with the Seahawks.
Oh, he's not going to like that one.
Underdog of the week.
All right. This will be
Yeah.
interesting. I'm going to throw this one in here. You're going to enjoy this one.
All right, what do you got?
I'm going with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I looked at that. I was this close.
NFC West
Well-
take points, always beat each other.
I had the Cardinals yesterday, but obviously that looked good for a little while, but then sort of fell away when Chase woke up. But they are quite frisky.
Just for my playoff prediction.
Yes.
And
No,
I
I'll
got
take the
Puka
Cardinals.
Nacua and Kyron Williams on my team. So I got to pull for them.
You gotta hope that that's not going to come through then. But I don't know. I got a sneaky. It's NFC West. It's a sneaky
It'll be a
division.
shootout
We all,
anyway.
yeah, it's going to be a shootout. We always share games between teams. So
Yeah, that NFC West is a tough division, man. They always kill themselves. High scoring affairs. But I think the most brutal division.
yeah, you
Yeah,
cannibalize. That's why you never get a first.
Or-
You never get like number one seed coming out of the NFC West apart. I think maybe this year, maybe. But we always take, Seattle always takes a game off of us, and we always take the Rams. The Rams always, lose to the Cardinals. It's like one of those. So
Yeah.
I think I got a sneaky suspicion, and I know Jason will enjoy the fact that I've called the Cardinals.
All right. So that wraps it up. It puts us right at 1 hour. Our goal is to have it at 30 minutes, but 1 hour is okay.
Should have told me that at the beginning.
30 minutes. No, not with
Well, we do tend to go between an hour, 30 minutes and an hour, because obviously I've got to shoot away soon and pick up the youngest for school.
That's right.
That's why we do half past one. So we have to cut it off so we can't overrun.
Yes, and I have children ready to go to bed because it's quite late here. So I am off as well. Gary, I would love that you came. I hope we can have you back on for maybe a sports wrap up later in the season, and we can look at some of our picks and predictions and see if we were right.
You can laugh at my Oatmeal Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah. And so nice to have you here. Thank you. And Johnny, as always, great job on putting everything together and putting some stats on there. I love the update on the Russell Wilson contract with the dead money. That was good info.
Painful to see that. Yeah.
Google's a handy thing when you're in the background.
Yeah.
You're not sharing your screen, tapping. Yeah. Guys, appreciate you having me on.
Gary, just to remind you, Johnny would like for you to stay on after the show is over for the video to finish uploading. Okay?
Yeah, no worries.
So for that, we are out. Thank you, everyone.
See you next week. Well, see you Tuesday.